Hi, Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain Exchange, and today we're going to finish up our lure mug. And the purpose of doing these lures, more than anything else, is for beginners, is to show you what order you should put things in. And some of these, it doesn't matter, do one or the other, but don't do them both together. For example, here's my tile that I showed you last time. These are yellows and oranges, yellows and reds. And you can see that some of the yellows and reds don't go very well together, and they burn off if they're too close to each other. So it's important that you know what order to do things in. This is how my mug turned out right here. So colors for today. Again, we're going to be using mixing yellow, and I have carnation next to it, black, moss green, that's up at the top here. This is the moss green. And then you come down and I have Copenhagen. We're going back the other way now. I have what color is that? I can't read my own writing. Blood red. I don't use it very often. I also have a South brown, which is my orange, but you can use any colors. I have darkest green, and then I have a Tahiti, but you know, baby blue will work. Deep blue green is better for this color. Any gray, as long as it's a light gray, and then some kind of a pink. I put on either yellow, like here, I put on a Copenhagen underneath. The reason I did that is because I'm going to be putting the deep blue green over it, and it will give it a real dark look to some parts of it. This one doesn't have any, this one here, it doesn't really have any colors that would mix badly. This one, I'm going to be putting a green over it, but I wanted the yellow underneath because around these green dots here, there is some yellow, and this way we can wipe it out and it'll look really good. The last one there is going to be the color it's supposed to be. This, I'm going to be putting some yellow on here and brightening up the yellow. And I didn't want to put the yellow and red together. So I put the red on really dark, not thick or heavy, but dark. And then the next one is just red and white. And the final one there is going to have a little bit of orange over the face. So I put some yellow down to begin with so that I could put the orange over it and it won't fire out. Brushes that I'm going to use today are, this is a real tiny one. It's a number 2. I also have what do we call it? Scroller. I have a pointer. I knew I had the pointer, so I didn't. This is a 1/4 inch brush. This is the largest brush I'll be using, and then I have this, which is a 5-0. So, and I didn't use the 5-0 very much last time, but I always take it out just in case I need it. And the first thing that I'm going to do is take my 1/4 inch brush. And I hope a lot of you are doing this. It's a cute idea if you have anybody in your family who's really into fish. And you're going to take and put deep blue green or whatever color you have down this side and all the way across. And I try to make it, and I'm just going to turn them this way because I think that'll stay in, yeah, it'll stay in view. Using my brush this way because it tends to make a nice straight line for me. And then I'm just coloring it in. And I do want them to be pretty dark. So I am kind of putting the color on there. All right. Now on the actual lure, it does have little speckles. And if you want to do that, you can just take your Pico-Pay. You're going to have to wipe it off periodically because it will build up on it, whatever you use. And on this side here, I want to, let me use the pointy Q-tip. It seems to work a little better there. Yeah. And then on this side here, I'm just going to do the same thing because I want it to be kind of cool. All right. So that's the blue. And then I'm going to take and use my pointer, that's this, and I'm just going to add a little gray with a little bit of black on the side of it, and I'm going to do these little guys here. And I'm just going to do them kind of on one side to make them look a little more three-dimensional. I'm almost side loading this brush, even though you don't really side load this kind of a brush. I'm almost side loading it, because I want it to have a look to it, a certain look to it. And we'll do all the black at once at the very end like we did this. Well, you know what? I'm going to do my black as I go, because I think last time there were places I couldn't get into because I waited and didn't do until the end to do the black, and then not everything came out the way I wanted it to. So let's just, this guy needs a connector. This guy needs to be a little crisper. I think everything else is fine. Okay. And that was with my scroller. Now this guy, he's pretty much true to color. So we're just going to continue with the color. I'm going to use my pointer and get my pink here and do the pink along this side. I'm going to turn it. You turn it so it's, if you've got one of these tables, so that it's the easiest for you to do. Don't try to go like this if it's not easy for you. If it's difficult, turn it. If you get a better line, turn it. Remember, you're working in a three-dimensional kind of environment here, so you don't want to get too hung up on the fact that you know, it's facing you. You want to turn it different directions, and you want to really try to get the color on there as smoothly as possible. So see, I did that side, and this is my red, my carnation. I'm going to do this side up here. Keep dipping your brush in the color, because when you're using little brushes, the paint disappears faster than it does with the bigger brushes, and you almost don't notice it. And then I'm going to turn it like this and come back this way to get the dark on the other side. There we go. Now, I think my red dots are pretty good, but if I want to just spruce up a few of them, I would use my scroller. And I would just go in and put a few dots up in here over the dots that are there, and that will give you a little more filling in there. And I kind of want to connect this up here and a little bit of that down there. I'm happy with my eye, so I'm not going to use my scroller for the eye. I'm going to, now like I said, it's going to be a full load of the gray with a side load of the black on this. Yeah, I bet you didn't know you could do it on that, huh? And I'm going to turn it this way because you can see already I want to have the darker part at the bottom of this. This is just a little thing in his mouth. It's a metal piece, and I just want to kind of fix it up a little bit. Okay. Pretty happy with that. Might wipe out a little bit of a highlight. And the way I did that was I went into my turpentine and really cleaned my brush well and brushed it off well, and then I put the turpentine on there, and that worked really well. Okay, now here I'm just going to, oh, too wet. Hang on. I'm just going to connect this, put the little hook there, connect this, bring this down, sharpen up some of my edges. Yep. That didn't sharpen up, so let's take it off. You can always take it off. You don't have to leave it on. just because you did it that way. And then up at the top, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come around, make this a little more prominent. I'm going to make this a little more there and there. Now I do want to put a thing through there. I may have to do it at another time because I am playing with the black and it may interfere, so I may have to wait and do that on a final fire. I'll show you what I would do so that you know. Let me do one more here with the black. Oh, nuts. Not good enough. Hang on. Ah, too much oil. There we go. And you might want to put a little dark on one side of him. And you could certainly do that if you want. Now, this guy is an example of how we're going to use the layering. I've already put the yellow on. I want to clean my, I'm going to use my 1/4 inch. That's this brush. And I'm going to use my moss green. And I'm going to put it on pretty dark. Yep, pretty dark. I don't want to go all the way over here because that part is orange, but I do want to do this part, and I want to redo his head here because that should be moss green. Okay, so I've got the moss green on. Now around these little guys here, there's yellow. I have to get a better Q-tip. So I'm going to mark off my Q there, and then I'm going to go around these. First, I'm going to clean them. Clean all the green off those guys. And then I'm just going to go around them. And notice as I go around them, if you refer back to the picture, you see the yellow coming out. It's real easy to do it this way. And then that way you get it to look more like the picture instead of less like the picture. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my darkest green and mix it with my other green and just come down and do a little bit of shading on that side. And then I'm going to take my orange. I'm going to put my orange back on this side, really bright. Okay, pretty happy with the eye there. The only other thing I still have to do is the mouth. That was done with blood red, and it came out very dark, which is what I wanted. But now I'm using carnation on it because I want it to be bright, and carnation is bright. Okay, and there you have that little guy. And the only other thing I want to do is a little bit more of the dark green. I'm using darkest green. I don't like black green. I always use darkest green. And I'm just going to go over some of these guys to make them a little more prominent, but try not to get into the yellow that I uncovered. There. Good. Okay, so he's done. Told you this isn't going to take long. Now we're going to do this little guy. I think I'm just going to do him with my pointer. It works pretty well. I'm going to take my yellow and just really rip into the yellow on here. This is mixing yellow. And then I'm going to turn it. And I'm going to do it on this side too. Okay. Clean my brush really well because I'm going to be using red now, and I don't want the red and yellow to mix. I'm going back into my carnation, which incidentally doesn't react as badly usually with yellow as some of the others do. And just touch them up there. And then I'm going to my pointer, and I'm going to do that gray with the black and just do this up here. I'm going to move this and pull it up so that it's even with the other ones, so that I can do what I want to do with the little line across the top. And we're going to do these three. Now, this is the one that I had the red on, and I'm going to put the yellow on now. Now, did I put the red on dark enough? Probably not, but I'll show you what I'm going to do in order to minimize the effect the yellow has. First, I'm going to put the yellow in. I'm trying to stay within the lines that I cut out for it. And then on this side, and I will move it up there. On this side, I'm just going to make them all yellow. He was supposed to have a white stripe, and I tried to leave that, but I tell you, artistic license, it just gets to be too difficult. So I just made it all yellow. Then I'm going to take my scroller. Why the scroller? Because it's probably the most precise brush I have. And I'm gently going to try to go around the yellow without touching it. Just to give it more red, because it really needs more red here. And if I don't touch the yellow, hopefully the two won't mix and I won't have a problem. And then as I get down here, it's fine. I can do whatever I need because that black will be fine. These are stunning when they're done, these mugs. And I think you'll be real pleased with it. I'm going to take another pointy Q-tip and just clean that up a little right there. Okay. Then go back and use my pointer. I'm doing these down here with the side load that we talked about earlier on my pointer, which is a little unusual. And then I'm going to go back with my scroller, pick up the black, and redo some of the black to really make it pop. You really want this to be as vibrant as you can get it, because it makes for a much more fun mug if it's real vibrant. There we go. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the black and do it up here. It's fighting me up here. Let's get this going here. Here we go. I'm on the tail end of my black, and I think, I don't know about you, but it's getting a little gummy. Let me show you. See how gummy my black is? I try to go into it, and I'm building a little mound there. What I need to do is take my palette knife, make sure it's clean. It's not. Yeah, okay. Pick up the black and just kind of see if it's the black or if it's if it has enough oil in it. It could use a little bit more, so I'm just going to open up my mineral oil, and I just barely touched the edge of this just to put a little more oil in there. There we go. And I think I will have better luck with that. So if that ever happens to you, you can remix your paints, but you have to be very careful. Don't put too much oil in or you'll hate yourself, especially if you're just trying to use up a little bit of paint. Where was I? Down here at the bottom. Okay. And now let's see how the black does. Yeah, works fine. Oh, I wanted to do a black line along this side. Oh. And that side. Just clean it up a little. Okay. This red guy is pretty easy. I was very happy with the way my gray turned out. I thought my gray turned out particularly well as the metallic, so, okay. And that's all I'm doing there is just reinforcing the red. You got to clean off this side here. Oh. There we go. And then I'm going to take my black. Now that I have my black all cleaned up. Come on, black. Cooperate. Not enough oil on my brush. There we go. Okay. I did all my eyes pretty well, I think. I was kind of pleased with those. This is actually, these little things up here, they actually come down to a point and then they come up and they're thicker at the top than they are at the bottom. But it's kind of hard to do with a brush, so I'm just trying to get the effect. And I might as well do this while I'm here. I'm not going to change that. I'm going to do a little attaching there so that he's attached. And I'm going to do a little painting here. Oh, too thick. When that happens, push. There we go. Okay. This guy, I wanted to put a little black line down this side. Oh, a little more oil. All right, this last little guy here, I'm going to do moss green over him and sort of fade it out. So first I'm going to put the moss green on, wipe my brush really well, and then start lifting some of it. And then I might even take a sponge if I have it. Let me see if I have the kind I'm thinking of. Oh yeah, here. And just tap, 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 tap. Oops, that was silly. I forgot I did the side here. That's why you probably should paint in a certain order, not just paint. Okay. So let's get the yellow to come out again. And then down here at the bottom, it has a little bit of orange on his face, and I'm going to put a little bit of orange over the yellow, like this. There we go. And what you want to do is spruce them up so that they're a lot more colorful than so that they look good. Okay, now let's go back to the black and draw the line up there. I'm going to take a one of these guys and go over the green. Wipe off the lighter green I put over it so it looks dark. There we go. That's better. Because you don't want to wreck the colors that you already have there. And then, there we go. And as for his mouth, I personally think the red is fine. So let me just wipe a little color there. Okay, this is how my piece turned out. Now what I'm going to do, I told you I'm going to use this tape here. And you're going to, I painted the little hooks at the top, so I don't want to do it this fire. I'm going to have to do one more fire, unfortunately. I'm going to find the edge on this. Hang on, looking for the edge. Here it is. And I'm just going to pull it off like this. I'll show you on the mug. And you put it on. You put it on and you press it down. Oops. And make sure it's even. Hang on, let me do this so I'm looking at it. And I did one at the top. I'm just doing a short one. Don't want to waste my tape. And I did one at the bottom. That's why I want to fire this, because I want the fish to be fired. And then I took my red and just painted. I let it set. Anytime I do something close to the top or the bottom of a mug, I let it set for a while, because the paint will, I use a drying medium, so my paint will set up a little. And that way, if I accidentally touch it or I accidentally bump it in the kiln, I won't lose the paint job that I did. And then you take, of course, the paint the tape off before you fire it. Now, when you buy this, it comes in a little container thingy. Don't just set it around like this. Get yourself a plastic bag. Even with your painter's tape, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but painter's tape tends to lose its stickiness. Put this in, seal it up, and keep it this way. And it will work for you all the time. And it will keep for a while in case you don't use it all at one time. Well, pick up those brushes, keep painting, and I'll see you next time.